Then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and served the Baals. They forsook the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of Egypt. They followed and worshipped various gods of the peoples around them. They provoked the Lord to anger because they forsook him and served Baal and the Ashtoreths. In his anger against Israel, the Lord handed them over to raiders who plundered them. He sold them to their enemies all around, whom they were no longer able to resist. Whenever Israel went out to fight, the hand of the Lord was against them to defeat them, just as he had sworn to them. They were in great distress. Then the Lord raised up judges who saved them out of the hands of these raiders. Yet they would not listen to their judges, but prostituted themselves to other gods and worshipped them. Unlike their fathers, they quickly turned from the way in which their fathers had walked, the way of obedience to the Lord's commands. Whenever the Lord raised up a judge for them, he was with the judge and saved them out of the hands of their enemies as long as the judge lived. For the Lord had compassion on them as they groaned under those who oppressed and afflicted them. But when the judge died, the people returned to ways even more corrupt than those of their fathers, following other gods and serving and worshiping them. They refused to give up their evil practices and stubborn ways. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and said, "Because this nation has violated the covenant that I laid down for their forefathers, and has not listened to me, I will no longer drive out before them any of the nations Joshua left when he died. I will use them to test Israel and see whether they will keep the way of the Lord and walk in it as their forefathers did." The Lord had allowed those nations to remain. He did not drive them out at once by giving them into the hands of Joshua. Judges chapter 3. These are the nations the Lord left to test all those Israelites who had not experienced any of the wars in Canaan. He did this only to teach warfare to the descendants of the Israelites who had not had previous battle experience. The 5 rulers of the Philistines, all the Canaanites, the Sidonians, and the Hivites living in the Lebanon mountains from Mount Baal Hermon to Lebo Hamath. They were left to test the Israelites to see whether they would obey the Lord's commands which he had given their forefathers through Moses. The Israelites lived among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. They took their daughters in marriage and gave their own daughters to their sons and served their gods. The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God and served the Baals and the Ashtoreths. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel, so that he sold them into the hands of Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram-Naharaim, to whom the Israelites were subject for 8 years. But when they cried out to the Lord, he raised up for them a deliverer, Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, who saved them. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, so that he became Israel's judge and went to war. The Lord gave Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram, into the hands of Othniel, who overpowered him. So the land had peace for 40 years, until Othniel, son of Kenaz, died. Once again the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. And because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel. Getting the Ammonites and Amalekites to join him, Eglon came and attacked Israel, and they took possession of the city of Palms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for 18 years. Again the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and he gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Jerah, the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about 1.5 feet long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way the men who had carried it. At the idols near Gilgal, he himself turned back and said, "I have a secret message for you, O king." The king said, "Quiet," and all his attendants left him. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his summer palace and said, "I have a message from God for you." As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, which came out his back. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said he must be relieving himself in the inner room of the house. They waited to the point of embarrassment, but when he did not open the doors of the room, they took a key and unlocked them. There they saw their lord fallen to the floor, dead. While they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the idols and escaped to Seirah. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went down with him from the hills, with him leading them.
I love you so much, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I never met you. I never saw you. But I know you're realer than real. I feel you in my soul. I feel you every time my heart beats. I feel you every time I take a step. I feel you every time I use my hands. Thank God. There was a video of this little girl feeding herself with her feet because she had no arms. And in the video, basically, it would say on the screen something like, be grateful for what you have, yo. You understand? How many times should we thank God a day? Yo, every second. It's like my mother, yo, I did something nice for my mother. She's like, you don't owe me a favor. And I'm like, oh, you a favor? You know how much you did for me when I was a kid? Just the fact that you held me in your belly for 9 months, that's already enough for me to be your slave for the rest of my life, yo. Think about that, yo. My mother could have neglected me, abandoned me, God forbid. Could have been careless with me, God forbid. She watched over me, she protected me. My mother was the type of mother that when I would go out when I was like 18, 19 years old to the club, she'd stay up at night and look through the window, and I used to get mad at her. And then she shut the blinds and I used to see her peeping out through the blinds. I didn't even appreciate how much she loved me back then. Now, thank God, since I got close to God, I understand how precious she is. A queen, King Solomon's sister. Man, this lady gave me so many words of wisdom that she got from her mother, my grandmother, Safta Rahma. Things like, don't show a person your weakness, ever. If you want peace in your life, don't tell your business to nobody. When you complain all the time, you look like the problem. When your mouth is closed, you can't get in trouble. Things like that. Words of wisdom, you understand? To help guide you in this world, yo. Think about that, yo. When your mouth is closed, you can't get in trouble. You know how many times you want to answer back? And if you would just be quiet and just wave your honor and show God that you trust him, yo, the reward is endless, yo. You don't understand. First of all, you're making peace. Second of all, you're obeying God's command. Third of all, you're keeping it classy. Fourth of all, you're making the Torah look beautiful. I could give you another 10 reasons why the reward is endless, yo. And it's compounded. It's not just one reward that's endless. It's 5, 6, 7. And then how you did it, yo. Just doing the mitzvah. If you did it extra class, you get another mitzvah. The Torah is dope, yo. What's the Torah? People are so afraid from the Torah, yo. They run away from it. When all it does is teach you how to be a good human being. To feed the poor, to have mercy on an orphan, and to respect the alien, because you were aliens in a strange land. Ma'am Loez. Love that book, love that series, goes deep. Could tell you so many things I learned from Ma'am Loez, yo. Rav Yaakov Kuli and some others that I can't remember their names right now, but it's official, trust me. The Torah is just teaching you how to keep it classy, yo. In every situation, how to forgo your honor. I wish I had the schut, but obviously I didn't. But can you imagine if Hashem put in the Torah, put your ego low, let it go, and know that God is running the show, bro. I don't think they would put that in the Torah, yo, because it sounds too modern, but you get the point, yo. That's deep. And I came up with that, yo. You know how I came up with that? There was this rabbi that dissed me. And I wrote him a note like, yo, how could you do that? You know, like, I was like kind of hurt in my heart. I'm not gonna front, yo. So he wrote me back, let it go. So I remember when I read let it go, I was thinking to myself, that's rude. But you know what? I took that from a negative to a positive. I said, let it go. I thought like, yo, that's God wrote me that. So I remember I was thinking to myself, let it go. Put your ego low. Let it go. Like that, I said to myself. And then I just said, yo, and know that God is running the show, bro. And then it just stuck like that, yo, forever. Say that to yourself sometimes when you get frustrated, yo. It will help you tremendously, yo. There's magic in those words, yo. They're not my words. Those are words that Hashem put in my mind to speak. And I love when he does that. And he does that because I'm close to him. Because I study his words, yo. Yo, people are bugging, yo. I want to meet and greet with God. This atheist was talking about. I want to meet and greet. Meet and greet? Sit down and read the Torah. You're going to meet and greet with God. What are you bugging? So much I learned from him, yo. So many lessons. How to be grateful. How to keep it classy. How to lie sometimes for the sake of peace. It sounds crazy. Hashem did it with Avram and Sarah. You could sometimes lie for the sake of peace. There's many situations I could give you where you could actually do that. And we see that Hashem did that, yo. It's deep. Pieces. Like I told my mother today, there's no other commandment where it says seek peace and to seek it. Show me where it says seek it and pursue it. It doesn't even say that about Shabbat. It doesn't say seek Shabbat and pursue it. But when it comes to peace, it says seek peace and pursue it. Think about that, yo. That just shows how much peace means to Hashem, because it breeds unity. And unity breeds harmony. And harmony breeds love. And when a father sees his children in love, with respect for each other, considerate, courteous, gracious, kind, the father loves that, yo. That brings honor to the father. For us to behave in a way like that to make Hashem feel good is a beautiful mitzvah that every Jew should have the merit to keep. And I just want to address some of the Jews out there that disrespect Hashem. I'm not going to go nuts and tell them you're going to go to Gehennom and you're done and Hashem's going to head stomp you to hell. Nah, none of that, yo. I just want to let you know that if you're really honest with yourself and you just think that you're in a ball rotating around the sun and the only place in space where you could have a human race, like 1 inch to the left, you're frozen. 1 inch to the right, you're burned. The expanse of the heavens is deep, yo. Something created that. Every creation has a creator, except for God. He was already there. He's not bound by time. That's what you have to understand. He was, is, and will be in the same second, yo. That's so deep. It's hard for you to comprehend, but it's really not. If you just remove the soul from the body, you would understand, yo. The soul's not connected to time, yo. You know that when you dream, right? 5-minute dream, it could last for 3 years. How could that be? Because you're not bound by time. The soul is deep, yo. That's why it's so important to take care of it, to keep it clean, to keep it holy. There shall be no prostitute among the Israelite women. Just like that, it says it, yo. Not to flirt, not to do, God forbid, bad movies. Yo. They used to worship idols. Why? Because the idol had some kind of a pull. There was something in the idol that attracted the people. How could somebody bow down to a stone, bro? It doesn't even make sense. But when you know that there was some kind of a pull, and as women have the same thing, yo. It's scary. You see how a man be so attracted to a woman, he'll be ready to kill. How could that be? Because there's something there. There's something extra. There's a certain kind of pull that will suck you in to the sin, yo. That's what it says, yo. When a man and woman live together in sin, they'll eventually hate each other, yo. Because there's no blessing in it, yo. That's what it is, yo. That's what you have to understand. When there's no blessing, death will follow, bro. What do you think's gonna happen, yo? Only the preserver of life can make it live. When he removes his presence, the essence is gone. May my dad have a safe trip to Israel. Conduct whatever business he needs to conduct and then come home to my mom. Because she already misses him. They're so cute. 53 years, I believe. they're married, yo, and they're still super close, yo. It's beautiful to see, yo. Beautiful to see they respect each other. It's gorgeous to see, brother. That's a blessing that I have two good parents that are like still together. Amazing. And that's all God. That's another thing I have to be grateful to God for. Make a whole list. You can't even. It's innumerable, bro. How many things do I have to be grateful to God for? Yo, a lot. And I love how he didn't make us keep, 6 days out of the week for Shabbat. For 6 days you shall keep Shabbat, and on the 7th day, go work. It's not what he said. He gave us 1 day to keep Shabbat. He's only asking for 1 day, 1 out of 7, yo. It's not even a lot, yo. And Hashem did it like that, Dafka. So that when you don't keep it, he can say, man, you're that grateful. 1 day you couldn't give out of 7? Yo, come on. A lot of the Jews will feel bad, yo, and that's good. Feeling bad will clean the sins because it'll make you suffer. You get depressed, you feel sad. It's a good thing. Just don't get too sad, because then the Satan will take that and push you into depression. And then it would be really sad, yo, because once you get depressed, it's hard to get out of that, yo. I have a friend like that, yo. Always negative, always putting himself down. And I send him some beautiful notes and I tell him. And some of my videos, yo, I talk to him, yo. In my phone, I have him, may God have mercy, and then his name. Because he struggles a lot, yo. May God help him. It's amazing, yo. Mental health, it's a big deal, yo. And it's not addressed like it should be. A lot of times, we kind of just push it off to the side, yo. We might shun somebody and not even really know how much we're hurting them, yo. Because think about that. If you don't have friends and you try to be friends with people and they diss you because maybe you're a little bit awkward, you're a little bit strange, you're not so normal like everybody else, that's really gonna hurt, yo. That's why you see sometimes kids at school that get bullied, they come back with a gun. Now that should just really highlight how important it is to be nice to people. Because the guy who comes back with the gun, he's not killing the people that were nice to him, yo. He'll literally just tell them, get out of here. Yo, he'll save their lives, yo. It's so deep, you have no idea. Be nice, be kind, be generous, and be considerate. Yo, there's these dudes around where I'm staying right now, yo, with these modified mufflers. Yo, this dude goes up and down the block like he's in a NASCAR raceway, yo. And it's all buildings closed in, you know what I mean? It echoes loud. No consideration, bro. It's really dirty, yo, the way he does it. Goes around the block 3-4 times, yo, 3 times for sure. I'm so tempted to yell out the window, you know what I mean? Show some respect. Give this dude such a speech, bro. But the one thing I realize is that if they're doing that in their mind, it's okay. In their mind, he wouldn't be doing it if he thought it was wrong. He thinks he's 100% normal. He's on his bike, nobody's business. You don't like it, drop dead. That's how these people think, yo. That's how the world became, yo. No God, no wisdom. That's what it is. They don't understand karma. You're going to be a jerk. You're going to eat that heavy, yo. For that alone, you shouldn't do it, yo. Fear the sin. Fear the punishment. And you won't sin. That's really how it goes, bro. No good deed goes unpunished. Get out of here, yo. No good deed goes unchallenged. No good deed goes unrewarded, bro. That's what they really want to say. The Satan is a genius, yo. He took that statement and he got people not to do mitzvot. It's going to be too much of a hassle. You know what? It's not even worth it. I'm going to get punished for doing a mitzvah. Yo. The Satan is a mega genius, yo. You should know it, yo. You should respect him. He's trying to take your soul, there's no doubt about it. But I guarantee you, when the fight is over and you win, he'll give you a pound and say, good job, yo. I always like to put the analogy like 2 UFC fighters, yo. They're ready to kill each other. They kill each other in the match. After the match, yo, a pound, a hug, mega respect. That's the Satan, you understand? It's a good analogy, yo, trust me. I'm sorry, Hashem, if that came off like I was bragging, but I was feeling it. love me, protect me, cherish me always the way I cherish you. You put peace in my heart, Hashem. My love for you is endless. And I want to say thank you for all the times you saved our nation. I was about to say my nation. Of course it's my nation, but it's our nation. God is the father of the children, yo. Show honor to your father by doing the right thing. Bring honor to his name. Bring honor to your family name. Right? If you're a great kid, everyone's going to say, oh man, that kid from that family. And they're going to keep mentioning your family. And every time they mention your family, they're only going to mention good things. It's only going to bring you blessings. That's why it's so important to be good. Yo, bad, it's the opposite. They're going to start speaking slander. Other people that don't know you are going to hate. And that's it, yo. Could ruin the whole business. Not interested in the Torah, no God, no wisdom. That's what they're telling you. We're not interested. So Hashem is saying, fine, no God, no wisdom. I'll remove myself. And now you'll have no wisdom. That's how you see Trump derangement syndrome, no wisdom. Why? Because they're tricked by a demon, yo. Gangsta how it works, yo. A guy bought a car. Friday afternoon, Friday night, he parks it right in front of his apartment building. Has his eye on it all Shabbat. Wakes up in the morning to go to shul, the car's missing. He comes back, he doesn't see the car. He goes mincha, then he comes back after Arvit, he sees the car. He goes upstairs, he gets the keys. He sees there's a note on the front windshield. He goes and he reads the note. You know what the note said? I stole your car. But when I turned it on, there was a rabbi giving a speech about what happens to people in hell for stealing. So I got scared and I brought it back. Yeah, just like that, yo. Let's see what other stories I can tell you about driving, yo. Hashem will give it to me, yo. You'll see. Tell me a story about driving. Oh, I'll tell you something dope. 2 mafia bosses are going into the same lane. So what do you think? Who's gonna go, right? Their pride is through the roof. So one says to the other, you go. So you know what the other one says back? These are 2 cartel gang members. No, you go. No, you go. No, you go. They might get into a fight. Who's gonna go first? Why? Because when you put your ego low, a spirit is born. And it brings peace to the situation, yo. Avoid strife. Avoid it, yo. Machloket, chelek, mavet. Hashem is telling you, a little fight could break out into a murder. Respect everybody, yo, because we're all God's children. Like Rabbi Eliezer Elazar, would have told you when he called that guy Reka, that he was wrong, and he apologized, and the guy wouldn't forgive him. Until finally somebody came up to him and says, you know what? If you forgive, you'll also be forgiven. You don't have any sins? You're gonna die one day. You want those sins to be forgiven? Forgive him. And that's how he forgave him, yo. That's deep. One guy was sleeping. A tree fell, and the way the tree fell was like, yo, he should have been crushed. But he survived, yo. And he walked away. He didn't even know. He just got up because the rabbi woke him up. When he woke up, the tree was like around him in such a way that it wasn't even touching him. So he said, what's going on? He said, this tree fell. So that he got up, he said to him, can I ask you a question? Why do you have this merit, yo? Any normal person, the tree would have squished him, yo. But I see it's an act of God, yo. Something happened here. What's your merit? So you know what he told him? He said, I never hold a grudge. When somebody wrongs me, I understand it's from God, and I try my best not to hate on it. That's what I do. The rabbi smiled because he knew. It's a big deal when you wait. Yo, you could go to war and you fall back, blessings will follow you. You'll see. Unless he wants to kill you, then you kill him first. But in a normal circumstance, don't chase a fight. Don't chase an argument, yo. It could always end up bad, and you don't want that. I don't want it for you, and you don't want it for yourself. just want to say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's an honor to do videos in your name. That's why I call the page Lessons from Heaven, because that's exactly what it is, yo. We teach you over here how to be classy. We teach you over here how to put your ego low, let it go, and know that God is running the show, bro. We teach you what it means to respect God, to respect yourself, and to respect